wrap this show up. It's already been so great. Target has unveiled a new small town store expansion strategy. According to Modern Retail, the Minneapolis-based company is increasingly focusing on full-size store development in smaller markets and rural communities, a departure from its previous emphasis on small format urban locations that dominated its expansion narrative from 2016 to 2021. Almost all of Target's planned stores are set to exceed 100,000 square feet, supporting the company's, quote, stores as hubs, quote, fulfillment strategy that has become central to its omnichannel operations since 2017. Target's growth ambitions remain robust with plans to open approximately 300 new, predominantly full-size stores over the next decade. The retailer opened 23 locations in 2024 and has scheduled about 20 new openings for 2025, according to its most recent annual report. While Target already reaches roughly 75% of Americans within a 10-mile radius, as COO Michael Fidelki noted in March, this still trails Walmart's impressive 90% proximity metric. Chris, Disa, we're going to go to you first on this. Do you agree that Target will find profitable growth by expanding into rural markets? I know you have a hot take on this one yourself.
So as bullish as I was about Target 360, I think the jury's out for me on this one. I think a couple of
Okay.
things that I've been thinking about. One is, when you think about, store expansion, specifically Target in rural markets, it really for me is location specific. Does a Target store fill the need for a consumer in that market, or is it another choice to Walmart, et cetera? Now, if they're looking at it to say, okay, this is going to be a super store and we can pull inventory and speed up our fulfillment in some of these markets, because we all know that fulfillment times are lower, or they're slower, I should say, for some of these customers, then that could be a really good thing. But again, it really comes down to each market, each specific market, and what is the real need.
Mhm.
Funny story, Kmart, I don't know if you guys know this, one of the last stores was in the Hamptons, at the eastern end of Long Island, and now Target is actually filling the space. So while affluent, it is also rural. So as I
Yeah.
think about, Yacht Rock and white pants, et cetera, going into Memorial Day, I know a bunch
Jose.
of people out there are very, and rosé, I know a bunch of folks and consumers are super excited that Target is coming to fulfill that need. But again, that is a market specific opportunity that may not translate across the country.
Okay, Michael, what about you?
Yeah, I think this is another one that it probably didn't come up in the innovation lab at Target, but it probably should have never made it out of the C-level strategic planning meetings and or
Okay,
approval for the spend by the board.
give us
The
your
challenge,
reasons. Yeah.
the challenge I have with this is I like Chris's example of a Target going in near the Hamptons, but clearly that's not very rural. The rural markets are a challenge. And all you got to do for the template of the challenge is look at Dollar Tree, right? I
Hmm.
mean, that story has been written, the outcome is written, and it's not successful. I also think Target is best when they are sort of the antidote to Walmart. Like when
Hmm.
Target is Walmart, you don't need Target. You have Walmart, and Walmart is fantastic at it. Target has always been a step, maybe two, maybe three above Walmart. It's still sort of similar, but it's always been going back to the ads in the early 2000s, Target,
Hmm.
not Target. So it was a great access point, but it provided a different experience, in my opinion, than Walmart. So if they're looking to expand, and if you read between the lines, that's basically what they're saying is we want to go more head to head with Walmart. I think that's a strategic error. They need to really separate themselves, do what they do best, and is putting a Target in a rural market. And I think of a place where we go on vacation sometimes in the summer up in rural Maine. There's a Dollar General. Are they going to put a Target near there? That's never going to work.
Yep.
So I think it's interesting, but without a well thought out plan, and to Chris's point, very strategic placement in demographic areas that can support it, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Michael, if we were talking old Target. I think now you have to look at current Target. And when you put it up against a Walmart, I don't think it provides the same. Like Walmart's come so far and improved its, especially
Yeah,
the
good point.
new locations of Walmarts that they're going to be building as well in these rural communities. Like their store formats, I think, are comparable and if not better than Target. Plus, I think you hit a lower price point, which gets back to what we talked about in the first headline of you're going to get the everyday low price at Walmart, and there's no way Target can beat Walmart on price. And so what are you left with for the shopping experience? And I tried to even go to yes, maybe they could just build store fulfillment centers or something in these areas to just hit on faster delivery. But you have Amazon coming in and doing rural delivery too, and
Exactly.
everybody knows Amazon already too. So I think Target's in a tough space here. And I also wonder if this isn't a bit of a PR play as well. Like if they're going to these based on all of the footfall drop that they saw from a lot of the DEI initiatives. I also wonder if this isn't saying, okay, we're going to go and try to penetrate a new market here. But Chris, Disa, you got something to throw in.
I will say they're adding their desire is to add 300 stores, which is a 15% increase. If
Yeah.
we were talking 50 stores in select locations that, services in need, all for it. But,
Yeah.
300 stores is quite bullish in my opinion.
Totally agree. Chris Walton,
Yeah.
close us up. What's your thought here?
Yeah, I've been on my edge of my seat waiting to chime in on this 'cause I think I actually have firsthand experience that's pretty applicable
For sure.
to this discussion. I and the reason I say this, I actually was in charge of the stores in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, and Casper, Wyoming, and they were
Yeah.
some of the lowest volume stores at Target. And so to Chris's point, if you're going to build 300 of these, there just aren't that many locations that are going to pencil. And I can tell you without giving anything away, the volume of those stores is like 50% of what an average Target, at least 50% less than what an average Target store is going to be. And to your point, I think everyone nailed this. Walmart's already there. Walmart's better than it's ever been. Amazon is going there too. And so for delivery, if that's why you're building these, why would you build stores just for delivery hubs? That seems like a really expensive proposition. Tractor Supply is also there. So how does Target win this? How does Target win this battle that will return the capital that Wall Street requires, given the historical performance of Target at a time when the cost of capital is also more expensive than it has been in years past? So I absolutely don't get this. It's just another sign of just how lost strategically Target is right now, which Michael said right at the outset. This is a discussion. This is just a pivot that should never have gone past anyone. The city targets didn't work. No crap. We all knew that going into, because you can't build enough of those at a rate that's going to have meaningful comp growth either. There just aren't that many locations in the U.S. where that's going to play out either. But they were lined up on that strategy for 5 or 6, 10 years almost. Cornell's been there since 2014. So when do they get some really concrete growth strategies here? And I mean, I've been railing on this from
Hopefully
this pulpit forever. Come on, this is not it.
Hopefully
right,
the acceleration team that they talked about in the earnings call this morning, it's all down to the acceleration team, Chris. Acceleration, move forward.
Right.
Man,
I feel vindicated by that too, Ann, because I've been saying that this was going to happen for a year and a half now when we had the annual review show in 2023 with the A&M folks. And it has happened. But I can tell you, before you announce this, go into the store in Scottsbluff and see if you want to,
Absolutely
replicate that model throughout the country. Get out of the corporate boardroom and see if that's the model that you think's really going to work. I don't know, but
yeah. I mean, look, retail 101 that is really, really proven is that these XO market stores or smaller stores struggle. So every major retailer expands and then spends years trying to get out of the leases to shut the not profitable doors. They're now saying we want to open 300 of these types of stores. So number one, that's DOA. Number two, the other one that we didn't talk about is Dollar General. Dollar General has these markets figured out.
Yep.
They are growing their grocery business as well. Now that's much to the whatever. They're just growing their grocery business. So what do these markets really need a target for? And I think the last thing that Target absolutely needs to do, and if we were working with them, or if I was the CEO, I would say, let's focus on ourselves. Let's stop like these bright, shiny object things. What do we need to do to be the best that we can be in our own four walls with what we have today and what we can control? Because it doesn't feel like they're doing that. And I think that's a huge miss on their part.
Oh, you
You
guys.
would get my vote, Michael.
Yes.
Honestly, you can't do. No, I don't think anyone can do a worse job, quite honestly. But you would get my vote.